So it's been 4 years since I last really did any videos, and a lot of people have been asking me where have I been, what have I been up to, and what's gone on over the past 4 years. If you cast your mind back 4 years ago, it was during the pandemic.
Now come for us all to do more. From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home. Because the critical thing we must do...
When the pandemic first happened, I went along with it, with the first lockdown and everything, because I thought, it's better to be safe than sorry and everything like that. But as time went on, after the first set of lockdowns, and then the second and the third, it just started to become more and more farcical. Like they were changing the rules almost on a weekly basis. 1 minute you didn't have to wear a mask, 1 minute you did have to wear a mask, 1 minute you had to wear a mask when you stood up and not sat down. You could go into restaurants, you could go into bars and have a drink if you bought a Scotch egg, but not if you didn't bring a Scotch egg. You could sit on a plane without a mask on as long as you were eating or drinking, but you couldn't. It just got more and more stupid and illogical. Like the rules didn't make sense. And as someone who's very logical, I like to know how things work and I want things to make sense. It just got more and more like crazy. I was like, this makes no sense. And then the worst thing I think for me was watching other people go along with it without questioning it. So people would literally do that. They'd stand up, put a mask on, sit down, take a mask off. They would follow the one-way signs around a supermarket and do all these things. Like this makes no sense. Like just ask yourself, does this actually make any sense? You have people like wearing these masks and things. I think what did it for me really was we went to Bicester Village, which is like a shopping area in Oxford, me and Alison. And we went there and we were stood in a queue to go into a shop because they used to make you queue up to go in all the shops because of COVID. And in front of us there were two girls, and they were there with like these like chainmail type face masks on, like quite a fancy looking mask, but you could literally see straight through them. They literally could see straight through them, but because they put that mask on, they were allowed in. If you tried to go in without a mask on, they wouldn't let you in. But it was kind of like this. It just got more and more ludicrous. But I remember seeing that, thinking, "This is just stupid." Is this? It's literally people following a rule that they've been told to follow, and no one questioning why or does this make sense. And it really started to get to me. Like it really started to get to me because all around me, my friends and family were all just going along with it. And you're like, it makes no sense. And if you actually talk to them about it and explained it, they're like, well, yeah, that does make no sense. It's like, then why are you doing it? It became, I got more and more frustrated with this to the point where I started speaking out a little bit on social media. And of course, you were almost pretty much cancelled straight away for daring to question the science. Even though the science, it was not science at all. Science is all about questioning. That is the whole point of science. The whole point of science is you question things. You try to debunk it. You try to find flaws in it. So, for example, if I found a new planet, call it Chesworth World, every scientist on the planet would be trying to debunk me and trying to find out that that's not real, or if it is real, where is it, things like that. Whereas during the COVID thing, it was kind of like you're not allowed to question the science, which is not scientific. And if you questioned anything or asked any questions on it, you were classed as like a conspiracy theorist or something like that. And so it got to the point for me doing these videos and things that I just couldn't do them anymore because I'd have got cancelled for a start. You'd have never seen them. Entrepreneurs and business owners generally think a little bit different to most people, which is why they achieve what they achieve. They see the world slightly differently to other people. So I suppose during those times it was a bit of a curse because I was literally looking at these things going, no way are people going to do that. But they did. They did. But the issue you've got now, and you're seeing it across so many different things, is trust has gone. What they did with lockdowns and things like that, it's just exacerbated this issue where people now no longer trust the mainstream media. They no longer trust the medical establishment, and they no longer trust governments. And it's causing big problems for all those areas across the world. And so it's really sad to see that, but that is what they've done. And it's woken a lot of people up, I suppose, to questioning things, which is something you should always do. I mean, I always used to talk on these videos about that, and when I do my talks, you should never just accept something because someone's told you that's the way it is. You know, you should question things. You should look if there's a better way of doing it, or why are we doing it this way, or not, or well, because someone said so. And yet that's what the world did. And I know, I get the fact that, yeah, we need people just to follow rules and do what they're told. I get that. But for someone like myself who's made a career being an entrepreneur by thinking a little bit differently and doing things slightly differently, I did struggle with that. Now, as vocal as I was against COVID, e-commerce really, really boomed during that time. You know, everyone thought the world had changed forever and that people were never leaving the houses ever again. They were all going to be inside on the Peloton bikes, always buying online, never going out into the real world. And so e-commerce did amazing for us. And we were very fortunate. We were very quick to react to what was going on in the world. I remember when I first saw the COVID thing coming out in the news, you know, when it was over in China and everything, I got the whole management team together and said, we've got to get ready for this. We've got to be ready to work from home. We've got to get everyone prepped for it. And I've heard since that a lot of the people at EKM thought I was crazy. Like, what on earth is he gone on about? As if this is ever going to happen. And so then when it did, everyone thought I had some sort of like, oh my God, how did Anthony figure this out? How did he work this out? But it was pretty obvious of what governments were doing. One of the things that we did benefit from in that regard is that we were ready for it when it happened. We switched to working from home really quickly, and e-commerce itself boomed. So the business was doing better than ever. You know, we had our best years ever because of lockdowns and things like that. And so inevitably, we started getting approached by companies that wanted to buy us. And we'd always been approached by companies who wanted to buy EKM ever since when I first launched the business. Within the first, I think, tell a lie. When I first launched EKM, the first 4 years, it was just me on my own with loads of credit card debt, trying to get the business going, being told that it had never worked. But once the business did get going, probably by year 6, maybe, even 5 or 6, we started getting people approaching and saying, look, are you interested in selling this business? Like competitors and things like that, basically trying to stop us before we got too big. The numbers were never right, and we always said, Evex ended up saying no. And that happened all the time over 20 years. We always got approached by businesses who wanted to look at acquiring us. During, obviously, the lockdowns and everything like that, we started getting approached by a lot of companies that are interested in buying us. And it got to a point where we had 3 really interested parties. So I had this number in mind that I wanted if I would sell the business. Show me the money! I met with them all, give them all a tour of the office, and found one that I actually really liked, got on with, and I felt would take the business and be able to grow it and expand it and look after everyone who worked there as well. The process of selling the business, the due diligence side of it is horrible, really. It's got to be done. And I remember a friend of mine who'd sold his business about a year earlier. I spoke to him to get his advice on it. And he said, show me the money! Keep your eyes on the prize and also make sure that day one money you're happy with. At the time as well, you can't say anything to anyone. You can't talk to anyone about it. You can't say anything. Can't tell the team. Can't tell anyone about what's going on. Eventually you tell the senior management team because you've got to get their buy-in on it. And you've also got to get them involved in the process as well. And so you've got to come up with an incentive structure to keep them interested and that they benefit from it. That whole process took about 6 months. We eventually sold the business in September 2021. Both myself and Alison and all the management team as well all had to stay there. So we had to stay there for 12 months. We had an earn-out that we had to hit, which we did. Fortunately, we hit the earn-out. The business was doing well. We hit the earn-out, and we had to work for 12 months, that was really tough. That was really tough because obviously I'm sort of unemployable to a certain extent. I've worked for myself for 25 years or something, and so That was really tough, actually, going working for someone in a business. It was very interesting. I mean, it was very interesting to, going down to London, and they had a big office in central London, right near like the Gherkin and the walkie-talkie building. It was very like, how did a lad from Burnley end up here? It was very impressive, and I kept getting promoted to, I think at the end I was running like a department which had like about 350 people or something like that. Alison was doing recruitment for the whole group. It was interesting, but neither of us wanted to work for someone. But we had to stay there to hit the earn out and to fulfill all the contractual agreements and things like that. But it was very interesting. But after a year, when we were able to get out, we got out. The other thing that sort of happened around that time as well was with my flying. I know a lot of people watch these videos because of my flying and things like that. But what happened was I went for a medical. You have to have a medical every 2 years or so. And I went for a medical, and when they do that test where they hit your knee with a hammer to test your reflex, they hit your knee and it bounces up. And they did that check on me, and I had a bit of a judder when I kicked my leg. And I'd had this previously, but it had got a bit worse. And so the doctor said, we need to find out what that is, because there's some sort of motor neuron type thing going on where your brain's not talking to your knee properly. We need to find out what that is. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But until then, you can't fly. And I'm like, what? So just because of this one thing, that if someone comes at me with a hammer, my leg judders, I wasn't allowed to fly the plane, which I thought was really unfair. So that then started a whole rigmarole of me having to, I paid tens of thousands of pounds for MRI scans on my brain, my neck, my spine, you name it. Every specialist under the sun went to see. It got to the point where I had to have genetic testing done, which you can't pay to speed up. So I was at the mercy of the NHS, which took 2 years. 2 years to get the answer. All this time, I'm basically pretty much being told I've got some sort of form of motor neurons disease, which is great. I'm there specking my wheelchair up and picking my voice out. But I sort of never believed it, really. I never believed it. I just like, nah, this can't be right. This cannot be right. I mean, yeah, occasionally you can have a bit of a judder or something, but this can't be right. 2 years pass. Basically, it gets to the point where I'm going to have to sell this airplane now, because I've had it now for nearly 2 years. I can't use it. So I sold the airplane. And I remember when we signed the paperwork to sell the aircraft, we sold it. 2 days later, I get a phone call. I think we were in America at the time on holiday. I get a phone call off my dad saying, oh, you've had a letter here from your consultant. Do you want me to read it out to you? So I'm like, yeah, go on then. Totally fine. Nothing wrong with you. It's like typical, isn't it? Went to see my aviation doctor. Yeah, everything's fine. As long as you have a flight test to prove that you can press all the buttons, you're fine. And that's it. So it was just two years just literally stolen from me for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Just box ticking. But yeah, so I can fly again now. And then I was debating on it for a while. Do I want to get back into it or not? And then a friend of mine who has an aircraft said, look, do you want to come and fly my aircraft for a bit? See if you want to get back into it. I said yes. I got all my licenses back valid again, and I'm back flying now. The only thing I've not got is an aircraft, which I probably will end up buying. All aircraft brokers don't start contacting me just yet. But yeah, I probably will buy one. I'm actually just waiting for the dollar rate to drop. I think Trump wants the dollar to go down a bit. So as the dollar goes down, because most aircraft are priced in dollars, they'll get a bit cheaper. The other thing I got into in 2019, actually, so this is way before I sold the business, I started getting into investing. Something I always wanted to learn how to do, and so I started getting into it. And so when I sold the business, and I got that big capital event where you get the money, I decided that I was going to invest all that money myself and manage the whole money myself, rather than a lot of people, for some reason, they don't trust themselves with their own money. And that might be fine for some people. Some people might very well not be trusted with money. But it always interests me that people who've had a successful business and generated a lot of money and then had a capital event where they've sold out, don't trust themselves to manage their own money. But I wanted to do it myself. And so pretty much since selling the business, that has been my primary job. Every day, that is what I'm doing. I'm trading and investing on the stock market. And again, like everything, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. But touch wood, I've been doing pretty well with it. You know, I'm earning more money now, just me on my own, on my computer with a load of stock market graphs and all this sort of stuff that I never knew what it meant only a few years ago. I'm earning more money now, just me on my own, than I did when we had 88 people working for us at EKM. So that's pretty amazing, really. And it shows that, you know, that sort of stuff can be done. And I'll probably end up doing some more videos on that kind of thing, just because I'm interested in it. I'm not doing these videos to try to sell a training course or anything like that at all. I don't really know why I'm doing these videos at the moment. I mean, it used to be that I used to do them because I always like helping small and medium-sized businesses to succeed. You know, I love entrepreneurship. I love business. And so if I can help people, that is why I'm doing it. And when we had EKM, of course, we're helping people with e-commerce and things like that. The other thing that I started to do was a couple of years after leaving EKM, you know, my earn out and then I left. I always stayed in touch with like the senior management team at EKM, and Nick in particular, who was, and you probably remember him from some of the videos, he was like the chief technical officer. And I do have an idea for something, and the idea was for a business called Colin, catchy name. We were going to create a person called Colin who would be like a social media marketing manager for businesses. And he'd be a real person, all created through AI. And he'd effectively message customers the social media posts. Because we have people like that we employed at EKM, and I think most people do at their businesses. They have people who they employ to manage the social media. A lot of these people work from home, but you basically give them access to your social media accounts and they'll post up content for you. But in reality, you pay them a lot of money, like £30,000 plus a year, and you don't really get that much for it, really. You're lucky if you get, you know, a couple of posts a week at max. And with the advances of AI, I felt like you could probably create that and automate it through AI. Because AI, when I first started seeing all the AI stuff a few years ago, it had the same feeling as it did when I was building EKM, when I saw like the opportunity with e-commerce, when you could start building web apps, you know, applications that ran through the web browser. The AI thing felt as exciting as that. You're like, oh my God, there's a massive opportunity here. Massive opportunity. And I believe that now. I mean, AI is just phenomenal. And every time I use some AI tools or see these updates that they come out with, it just blows my mind. It's absolutely amazing. And there's going to be such disruption in so many industries because of it, and so many ways of optimizing businesses and improving businesses and just getting more efficient. Content calling now, you can literally give it give it your business's website address, and then you give it your website address, you log in, you connect it to your social media accounts just by pressing like a couple of buttons, like this will get Facebook Connect, and then literally it will automatically learn everything it can about your business. It will automatically go and index your entire website, learn about your website and all your previous marketing on social media. It learns your tone of voice, how you say stuff, what colours you use, your brand style, and it then creates content and posts it automatically up on social media. It literally just does. It's like magic. It really is. Even I'm amazed by it. We started doing that, and it's a startup, which is, again, it's quite exciting. It's just me, Nick, and Ian. We've took Ian on, who's our sales guy, and it's interesting for me because I'm not doing it for the money as such. I mean, I'd like it to make money and to make money on it, but it's just because it's very exciting and very interesting. And again, it's early days. The business has been trading for about a year now. In that time, we've been keeping evolving what that business is, how we're presenting it, and it's worthy of a video in its own right because it's very exciting and we're just changing it. It's very fluid. Almost on a monthly basis, we change what the proposition is and how we're marketing it. But that's going really, really well as well. Just got a message of Colin there, just saying that we've just got a message there saying for another customer sign up. And that's basically what's happened over the last 4 years. Am I going to keep doing these videos? I honestly don't know. I'd like to, because I actually enjoy making the videos, and if they benefit somebody, you know, if just one person watches these videos and benefits from it in some way, it's worth doing, isn't it? And I do enjoy doing it. I don't do anything I don't enjoy doing. So yeah, so watch this space, see if I keep doing these videos. But yeah, thank you very much.